Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show presents the Raw Ring Report. Coming up, Io Sky, Bayley, Lara Valkyria, Oscar, Raquel Rodriguez, and Avina. These 6 women will compete for an opportunity to become the next number 1 contender for the Women's Intercontinental title and meet AJ Lee next week for the title. We'll see which one of these women will go to the gauntlet and earn themselves a number 1 contendership spot. Coming up, as well as this right here. Speaking of the Intercontinental Championship for the men's, newly crowned Intercontinental Champion Penta defends the title. This is the original El Grande Americano. And El Grande Americano get his opportunity and win the Intercontinental Championship over Penta. We'll see coming up. Plus, our main event on the Raw Report sees Oba Femi lock horns with Rusev. These 2 behemoths go toe to toe. They do it tonight on Raw, right here, right now. Let's get the Pro Wrestling Show started right here, right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. I'm your host, as always, Kendrick Dixie. Glad you're enjoying the Pro Wrestling Show, the Raw Ring Report. Join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend. Hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing here on the Raw Ring Report. All right, everyone, let's get started right here, right now, with stuff already here on the Raw Ring Report. Let's not waste no time whatsoever. We're going to kick things off with this here on the Raw Ring Report. We're going to kick things off with this. The general manager of Raw, Adam Pearce. We can show you a brief clip of what Pearce was saying. This is Adam Pearce, the general manager, kicks off the show and tells Seth Rollins to come out and Seth Rollins had people that as masked men throughout the whole entire show. This was the whole show started with Seth Rollins and these gang of masked men. These gang of masked men have to be his students. His students got to be Black and Blade. They was all jumbling around, shuffling, diving, ducking. It was so many, and I can't even barely knew who to count. But they was all out there, and they was all out there for one man's attention. General Manager Adam Pearce told Seth Rollins to stop with the charades, the shenanigans, and come out there. And Seth did, and saying that Seth is still injured, and Seth is not ready to compete. And Seth Rollins really took heed to the general manager's advice. The GM was trying to help out Seth Rollins and telling Seth Rollins to get himself together. And I don't know if Seth Rollins physically cleared or not, but was trying to his attention until he did so, until LA Knight came out there. LA Knight and the tag team champions, the Usos, cleaned house with Logan Paul and Austin Theory. They cleaned house. And LA Knight, meaning business. It was a lot going on. Speaking of the Usos saying they didn't forget what Seth Rollins had said and did. What Seth Rollins did last week on Raw when CM Punk called out their cousin and the number 1 contender for the World Championship, Roman Reigns. CM Punk really making a enemy of my enemy is my friend. So he's doing all that stuff. You can tell right there, like they said, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and it just went down like that. And I was kind of shocked myself, but like I said, it was that. But the Usos, the tag team champions, the world tag team champions, plan to call out the world champion, and they want to do it a little bit later on in the show after what they did last week, after CM Punk, the world champion, did, disrespecting Roman Reigns and his family. The Usos took exception, like, hey, we're family too. Regardless of what we go through in Roman, we're still family at the end of the day. So a lot going on with that. We'll get there a little bit later on. But speaking of that, El Grande Americano looking to get his opportunity, his shot at the coveted Intercontinental Championship, but he met Danhausen, and Danhausen put a curse on El Grande Americano and did so. But he had a championship match that he wanted to go for, the Intercontinental title, but Penta retained the Intercontinental Championship. I guess getting cursed by El Gran Americano does have your perks, and I think that kind of messed him up. And I guess El Gran Americano might have the original one might have to reconsider of what he went down last week, but Penta still retains his Intercontinental Championship after winning it last week. Having perks and win the Intercontinental title is what he did. Well, speaking of that, was the women's gauntlet match. And the women's gauntlet match featuring 6 women, 6 hungry challengers, hungry, determined women that want to go for the Intercontinental title and become the hungry challenger to go against AJ Lee next week on Raw. Former champion, the first champion, Live Valkyria, as well as a couple Bayley, a former Grand Slam champion, Oscar as well a Grand Slam champion, Kel Rodriguez, former NXT Women's Champion. Io Sky, former Women's Champion in her own right, and Ivory Nile out of the bunch hasn't won a Women's Championship since, but this could be her first singles championship in WWE. Well, the gauntlet match went through all of them, but guess who emerged victorious? Bayley. Bayley defeated Asuka to get the opportunity of a lifetime. Bayley is the #1 contender for the Women's Championship, and thus she will meet AJ Lee next week for the Intercontinental Championship, a match nearly 10 years in the making. Even AJ Lee had this to say on her post. AJ saying that she looks forward to meeting Bayley one-on-one. She wore a t-shirt nearly 10 years ago, and now 10 years later, these two women will fight. I guess AJ is your wrestler's favorite wrestler, Sam Dessa Bayley. So these two women will meet next week on Raw for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And what a match that's going to be coming up next week on Raw. So we'll look forward to seeing that. Well, speaking of that, Stephanie Vaquer, the women's champion, saying that she looks forward to get her hands on Liv Morgan. These two women will meet at WrestleMania. And what a match that's going to be. They didn't even wait till the moment. Well, I guess that's another shot. But Stephanie Vaquer looking to get her opportunity, and she will do so next week at WrestleMania in 40 nights to do what she need to do. The match that's going to be coming up. Well, this right here. Right quick. Liv Morgan, the Judgment Day, turned their backs on Finn Balor. Finn Balor no longer a part of the Judgment Day. Finn Balor out of the group. Finn Balor just now got kicked out of the Judgment Day. He's the latest since last people were Edge and Rhea Ripley, Edge and Damian Priest, who started Judgment Day. Finn Balor got kicked out. Thus, making the match probably Finn versus Dom at WrestleMania one-on-one. Dom saying he got to be the greatest Mysterio, and he kicked out Finn Balor. I guess to start their feud at WrestleMania coming up. So we'll see how that's going to go. You can tell right here last week, the seeds were planted last week. As you can tell right here, when Dom got cursed by Downheiser, and Downheiser doing the same thing. There was complications going on last week. Dom believes that Finn cost him the Intercontinental Championship, and Finn didn't look out for him. And now Dom saying that good riddance. They wanted to take out the trash, and they did take out the trash. With Dirty Dom and company kicked out Finn Balor, which is kind of crazy, but it did happen tonight on Raw. So it's real crazy to see that. Also, too, we see right here on Natalya again trying to get attacked by Maxine Dupree. Maxine Dupree want to get her hands on Natalya, and Maxine Dupree feels like Natalya is not telling her everything she need to know. So we see all these momentum and all these changes and stuff. And it's kind of like, wow, you kind of see it, and you kind of like, man, oh man, everything is going towards so Natalya really getting bullied on and getting punked on as well. So we'll see how this is going to play out eventually between them. So we'll see coming up. Well, we see Javon Evans. Javon Evans looks like he's getting a talk to by Kofi Kingston about what's going on. Javon probably don't want to hear, but Javon probably trying to hear out Kofi, perhaps form an alliance. We'll see what's gonna go down. But you think Javon Evans and Kofi Kingston got something similar together? Yeah, Kofi was entertaining in his day, like Javon. How Javon is upright and uplifting, and now Kofi Kingston kind of see the world different. And Kofi also former champion, former world champion, winning the championship in the decade. So we see how that's going to go. Coming up between Kofi and Javon and the New Day. Well, we get to this, the main event. Oba Femi, the ruler, taking on this man right here, Rusev. Now, this man, we saw this last week, a preview of what happened last week when Oba Femi got Rusev up and slammed him down to the mat. Oba Femi taking Rusev down. Rusev 10 years ago did that, then it would have been a problem. Well, it wasn't no need. The ruler, Oba Femi, standing strong tonight. Oba Femi even started off the show dressing to the nines like he was an NBA player. Well, Oba Femi gets the win. The ruler gets the win. The ruler moves on. Oba Femi making known, making the exception tonight that Oba Femi did tonight. So Oba Femi on his way. I think that match to me, him against Rusev should have been a WrestleMania match, but just to save all the mystique and stuff. I don't know why they doing that, but they ain't got no matches like that. But hopefully, they will perhaps get something going down the road. We'll see. Well, we told you last week, CM Punk got in the face of Roman Reigns, his challenger for the number one for the world championship, and it went personal. CM Punk even said Roman will not be alone; he'll be right standing next to his father, be dead, and really that caused a rift issue until tonight. The Usos saying that they feel like Roman crossed the line, CM Punk crossed the line and disrespected the family like he did. Well, CM Punk came out there to give himself an explanation on why he did what he did. But CM Punk taking it to the next level. And the Usos saying they like CM Punk, but they feel like CM Punk crossed the line after what he did with Roman, even saying bad blood stuff. Roman Reigns and CM Punk got their issues, but the Usos really didn't want to be start in the middle, but they have. But CM Punk saying crossing the line once again. CM Punk got knocked out and kicked for his troubles. The Usos, the man didn't like that pocket. CM Punk. CM Punk didn't want to say I'm sorry, but he said I'm sorry and said it in many more ways than fashion. I'm sorry for you had to go through this. I'm sorry. And it just kind of made the Samoans even madder. And I think CM Punk caused the nerve, you ask me, what went down. But CM Punk got something going on. We'll see if CM Punk will meet Roman Reigns again next week when they have another face-off, another confrontation. Will Roman step over the line and say something about Punk's dog with people assuming he's going to say something about that? But we know next week, the tribal chief himself will be on Raw next week. And what would Roman Reigns say to CM Punk? What would Roman Reigns do to CM Punk? Will he take it physical? What would Roman Reigns even think with CM Punk, his cousins did to Punk by laying Punk out in the middle of the ring tonight, trying to get their respect, saying that Punk saying that the Usos are his boys and they ain't got a mind their own. We'll see coming up. Also, too, next week on Raw, Brock Lesnar, the Beast Incarnate, still doing that open challenge. Who's going to accept the challenge and meet Brock Lesnar one-on-one at WrestleMania? We'll see coming up. Another match that should have been a WrestleMania match. The original El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano, the new one. Maybe it might lead to a match of a mass versus mass match. We'll see that match coming up next week. As well as this match right here. Your favorite wrestlers wrestle AJ Lee. AJ Lee goes one-on-one and defends the women's Intercontinental title against Bayley. Bayley looking forward to getting her shot at the Women's Intercontinental Championship next week. We'll see if Bayley can beat her favorite idol that she looked up to, AJ Lee. We'll see that match next week coming up. But this Raw was somewhat good from Seth Rollins returning with these minions and stuff, like his version of the Undertaker minions, and coming out there to call out the Vision to see what the Vision knew. We'll see, as well as the Judgment Day turned their backs on Dominic Mysterio on Finn Balor, with Dominic Mysterio leading the charge the way he did tonight. And the Usos finally had enough of the disrespect from world champion CM Punk after what he had said about their cousin Roman Reigns after he went there last week. The Usos had to go there themselves and take him to there. We'll see coming up next week. All right. Thank you all for watching this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show presents the Raw Ring Report. I've been your host, Kendra Dick. And so long. We'll see you tomorrow for the NXT Ring Report here on the Pro Wrestling Show.